Hey guys, it's Jason with the Board Game Mechanics, and today we're going to take a look at a game called Red Rising Collector's Edition. Red Rising is a game from Stonemaier Games, plays 1 to 6 players. 45 to 60 minutes. It's a pretty quick game. And this game is based on the books of the same name from, I don't know who wrote the book, Pierce Brown. I haven't read the books. That should come as no surprise because I don't read books. But this is set in that universe, that theme. I'm not going to try to explain the theme. I don't understand it. I think you're trying to go from red to be gold. It's like a different color of cast system. But that's just me thinking from what I've played in the game. I have no idea. But effectively what you're doing in this game is you are trying to have in your hand the most points. Every card has a base point value, so you can see it up here. Some base points up here. And they're also going to have a different way to score down here on the bottom. You're trying to manipulate your hand by playing cards up to the board, picking cards up from the board to get the combos in your hand to score you the most points. There's a little more to it than that, but not a ton. So let's just go down to the table. Check it out. All right, so here's a game of Red Rising, all set up for 3 players. Setup is pretty easy. You're going to put the board out in the middle, shuffle all the cards, deal 2 to each of the 4 locations, so the Institute, Luna, Mars, and Jupiter. Shuffle, put the rest of the deck here, give each player 5. I'm going to be playing as this player, so I'll keep my hand face up. And then you're going to give each player a player ability, which will also can be the color of cubes. You can pick whatever color cubes you want, but I'm just doing that. So we have Apollo here. Apollo always goes first and last, so they get the little moon token. 10 cubes of their color and a turn order card, some in-game scoring. All the other players will have the same. And each player is going to put their fleet token on the 0 space of the fleet track. Then we're going to get started. Oh, and the helium tokens go on the helium section of the board. So the way the game works is on your turn, you're going to take one of 2 actions. You're either going to lead or you're going to scout. So leading is taking a card from your hand, putting it onto the board, to get the action that's next to that icon. So when I play that to the board, I'm going to get to do that action. Then I can either take a card from another location face up into my hand and get the bonus of the 4 spaces of the board, or take a random card from the deck, put it in my hand, and roll the die and get that bonus. So let's go over the bonuses. So Jupiter is going to move your spaceship up on the fleet track. The higher you get up, the more points you're going to get. So there's motivation to get up as high as you can. Mars is going to give you helium. Every helium is worth 3 points, and they're going to be using some currency through the game. Luna is going to give you the Sovereign token. When you take the Sovereign token, you're going to then activate the ability on your card here. So when you take this, or if you have it and you get that ability again, you can use your special ability. That's the only way they fire off. And the Institute is where you're going to put cubes up in here, and you're going to get the points based on how many cubes you have up there at the end of the game, based on whoever has the most. The game ends when either one player has 2 of these 3 conditions met. Either 7 helium, 7 on this fleet track, or 7 cubes in the Institute. Or if all 3 of us would have 1 of those, the game would also end. So that's effectively what's going on. So the way the game works is you're going to take one of these turns. And scouting, so I explained lead and then kind of got interrupted. Scouting, all I'm going to do is I take the top card, put it face up in one of the sections, and get the bonus of the section. That's all that one would do. You don't do that one a ton, but it is something that you can do. So let's go ahead and get started. So these are the cards I have. Cards have a base value points here. They're going to give you a deploy action maybe, or like a defense or something. And then they're going to give you additional points at the end of the game based on this section down here. They're also going to have some banners on the side. You can kind of see a banner that's going to kind of tell you what cards they go with at the bottom, so you can have it as like a quick reference. So let's see, what's this one do? I'm going to do that. So let's go ahead and play this card. If deployed on the Institute, advance 1 on the fleet track. So I'll do that. So I'll deploy it on the Institute. I'll advance 1 on the fleet track, and I am yellow. And then I'm going to take... I'm going to take this guy. Octavia. He's a gold. He's going to give me points based on the Sovereign token. If I have it at the end of the game, I get 30 points. If I don't, though, I lose 30 points, and he's worth 0. Then I took the card from Mars, so I also get a helium. All right. And that is that turn. And then we'll go to the green. Green has these cards. They have some cards as well. A lot of brown, a yellow, and a gold. And I think, let's see. I'm going to go ahead and play this one. I'm going to play it to Jupiter, the pathologist. When I play it, banish the bottom card of this location. So banish basically means it's out of the game, possibly temporarily, forever. But there are some cards that let you get them out of the banished pile. Then, because I played that and did the action, I can take another card. I'm actually going to take this blue one because this blue one's pretty nice. That's what I played. And that goes into my hand. And because I took a card from the Institute, I get to put a cube, or green gets to put a cube up here in the Institute. Then purple's turn. They're going to do the same thing. They have a lot of gold characters and a blue and some purple. And let's do this. They're going to play this one, a blue. They're going to play it to Mars. Advance twice on the fleet track, then all other players advance once. So purple will go up twice, I'll go up once, green goes up once. Then they're going to pick up this one because they want to use the Jupiter track, so they pick up the yellow card, and they're going to advance on Jupiter one more, so they get to move their fleet token one more time. All right, back to this player, and I'm going to take one off the top so you can kind of see how that works as well. So let's play this orange ones. I don't really like the orange cards that much. You may gain an obsidian from this location. So let's go ahead and put this here. I'll do put it on Luna. This is an obsidian card, which is a black card, so it hints obsidian. And then I'm going to pull off of the top. It will go into my deck, my hand, and I've officially made my hand size up to 6. If you have more than 7 cards at the end of the game, every card you have over 10 or 7 is 10 points off your score. And then, because I took one off the top, I'm going to roll this die. When you roll the die, this is the action that you get to take. So I'm going to take the sovereign token. And now, I get to activate my ability. Reveal and place the top card of the deck on any location. So I have a gray. Let's just put it right here. All right, and that was yellow's turn. Back to green. They're going to play this card because it's awesome. That's the one they just took. Deploy that to the Institute, and then they get to move up on the fleet track. And then they want to take this blue one again from Mars, and they'll get a helium because they pulled a card from Mars. All right. Then purple. Purple is going to they're going to play this, the Vlogger. If you're farther on the fleet track than the player to your right, which they're farther than everyone, so that's fine, give them the Vlogger. Gain the top 2 cards of the deck, then end your turn. So I'm going to do that. So the player to this person's right would be, I think, yellow. I don't know. We're just going to give it to yellow. I'm not 100% sure. So yellow will get the Vlogger. Then gain the top 2 cards of the deck. So we'll take the top 2 cards of the deck, which will be Mickey the Carver and this one, the Mess Hall Cook. And then their turn is ended. So they don't get to take a card from a row and do the thing. And that's how the game's going to keep going until, like I said, 2 of the 3 end conditions. So 7 helium, 7 on the fleet track, 7 cubes. And then what's going to happen is you're going to mark up your score. So you're going to look at any cards that have, so here's the scorecard. Any of the cards that have that little symbol. So if we had this one, we would get to fire that off. We'd do all that, score points for that. Then we're going to add up the cards plus the victory points at the bottom. So you're going to look at all these points at the top, and then look at everything at the bottom that'll give you points, add or subtract accordingly, fill that in. You're going to look at the fleet track. So if this is how the game ended, purple would get 6 points, yellow and green will both get 3 because that's where they are on the track. You'll get 3 points per helium. So in this case, yellow and green would both get 3. Sovereign tokens were 10, so this player would get 10. The Institute, so whoever has the most cubes in the Institute, so say it ended like, let's just go ahead and add some. 3. So like this. Whoever has the most cubes in the Institute, every one of their cubes is worth 4 points. Second place is 3, third place is 2. So in this case, all of theirs would be worth 7, or 3, 4. So there'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they would be worth 28. These would be worth 3, so that's 12. These would be worth 1, so that's 3. These are worth 2, sorry. So 8. And then you're going to get negative 10 for every card you have over 7. So in this case, nobody has over 7 cards. So none of those points would be deducted. Add up the total. Whoever has the most points is the winner. I know that was a quick and dirty overview, but it kind of shows you what's going on and how the cards play and all that type of thing. So that's how you play Red Rising. Let's go up the top, see what we think about it. All right, well, that was Red Rising. So this is a game that just came out this year. It's been pretty hyped up. People have been enjoying it. People like it. I don't necessarily love it. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. And let me tell you why I don't love it. I just feel like in this game, all you're doing is drawing and playing cards. Yes, you're trying to get combos, but some of these combos you're trying to get may never happen. I mean, some of the cards go with one other card in the deck. So there, for example, there are some cards that go with the card Severo. Severo's on the bottom of the deck. If you have a card that gives you extra points for Severo, you got to get to the bottom of the deck before the game ends, which is almost physically impossible. So you're never going to score those extra points. So that 15-point card that could be worth 45 points is now just worth 15. So you've lost 30 points based on the shuffle of a deck. I'm not one to complain about randomness, but that's a little harsh. I was playing a game and I had one card to go with that needed Severo. I had 3 cards that needed Severo. Severo never came out. There were some cards that gave me other abilities, but by the time I could get one of those cards, the game ended. So I don't necessarily love that thing. It's just not my jam. And I just feel like there's no decisions here. Like, yes, I'm playing a card to the board. Yes, I'm picking a card up, but sometimes the decisions are terrible. Like all the cards that are face up, I don't want any of those. So I got to take one off the top of the deck. I don't need a pink. I don't need this card, but I have to because I have to take a card unless I'm doing the scouting action. So if I need to take a card, I got to take this card and I'm stuck with it. It's another card that I don't need. I don't know. I just don't, the gameplay is not engaging to me. When we were playing, I played it as a 3-player game with some friends, and when I was playing, I said, this feels a lot like Lost Cities, which I think Rado made the same comparison. And I would rather play Lost Cities. It's more tense when you're trying to decide which cards you're playing and which cards your opponent's going to take. It's just, it feels more enjoyable and engaging. This one just seems, well, there's all these cards. I have to read all the text. I got to look at all the cards in my hand to get the cards that I need. Just not for me. I didn't love it. Not a terrible game. I'm not saying this is a terrible game. I don't think it's a terrible game. It's just not one that I can see myself coming back to over and over and over. Now let's talk about the production. So this is the deluxe edition or collector's edition. And I'm not sure what the difference is other than this might not be metal in the basic game, so the sovereign token. And I think these gold cards have the cool little foil down here in the deluxe version. But I think the big difference is, I don't know if these card holders come, so I can't speak to that, but these also have card holders that you can use if you want to. But the big difference is metal cubes and metal ships. But let's take a look at these cubes. So the colors are yellow and gold, red and purple, and blue and green. So let's look at these red and purple cubes. So here are the red cubes and the purple cube, a red cube and a purple cube. Red is on the bottom, purple is on top. I'm sure you cannot see the difference in those colors. Looking right at it, if you're looking right at it with maybe a flashlight shining on it, you can see the difference. Otherwise, you're not going to see the difference. Here's gold and yellow. You can kind of see the difference only because the gold or dark yellow is kind of like a copper color, but that's way too close. Here's green and blue. Blue's on bottom, green's on top. That's just way too close to make anybody happy. The ships look cool. I mean, if you're playing with these 3 colors, so here's the colors that I showed you in the game. Green, yellow, and purple. Green, gold, and purple. You can see the difference. But when you're playing with some of the colors that are close, it's rough. This die is cool. I think it's in the base game too. I'm not 100% sure, but This die is amazing. The board's fine. This cool holder of the helium, I think is standard, but I like it. It's pretty slick. Yeah, I like the components with the exception of these cubes. These cubes were a real fail. And here's the first player marker, which is the sun, which is pretty neat too. So yeah, the components are like 60% good, but the cubes being that close in color really knocks that down because that's your player marker. So that can make it difficult. And if you're colorblind, I know of someone who's colorblind has these cubes. They can't play this edition because they can't tell these cubes apart. So that was a misstep. So between the gameplay and the misstep on the cubes, this is not going to be a recommend for me. I'm not going to give it a BGM accepted seal. I don't even think I want to give. I think I'm going to rate this at a 5.5. I'll play it if someone wants to. If there's like literally no other game on the shelf, and they want to play it, or they haven't played it and they want to see what the new hotness is about, I'll play it. But it's not going to be my copy because I think I'm going to be trading that away. So unfortunate. I was actually pretty pumped to play this game, but just not for me, not my jam. So that is Red Rising from Stonemaier. I'm Jason with the Board Game Mechanics, and as always, keep gaming.